So as your sporting career and your working career has developed, how many skills from your sporting environment have you been able to adapt to your working career?
Again, so many that we again take for granted. So myself, I've worked part-time alongside being a full-time athlete the whole time. But before that, when I was a junior at university, at school, I'd be training and I'd be studying. So I think, again, the vast majority of athletes don't just have their sport going on, have had school, uni, whatever it is, other things going on. And we've naturally had to balance and be really good at time management skills. You know, we have to be at training 5 minutes before we start. So we have to make sure we're up at X, having breakfast at this time before that we go out and train. So we have to be really good at time management. So I think that's something. I mentioned before, incredibly hardworking. That's not the norm. Incredibly disciplined. You know, in athletes, we have to be disciplined in everything we do because every part of our life is geared towards achieving that goal. So we have to be disciplined. So I think that's another thing that we have to transfer to my career. How to motivate ourselves as well. We all have those mornings where it's dark, it's cold, it's windy and rainy like it is right now, and you just don't want to get out of bed and go and train. But you find that motivation, and that motivation inside you, again, is because those goals you've set out, whether they're 4 years away or 3 years away, whatever it is, we've got those goals, and that is the motivation that gets you out of bed. And I think that's also something that I've been able to adapt to my career. So there's going to be times where you find an online course really dull or whatever it is, but you've got that goal, you know what you're trying to achieve. And as athletes, that's something that I've transferred over to the working world as well to keep me motivated, setting the short-term goals, medium-term goals, long-term goals. So that one's been transferred as well. And also, again, mentioned earlier, it doesn't necessarily matter what you're doing, but to be successful, it's kind of the same blueprint and the same formula to achieve and be successful in whatever you're doing, whether that's the business world, whether that's the sporting world, whether that's a challenge that you want to, I know, climb Kilimanjaro, whatever it is, the blueprint's the same. And as an athlete, we know that blueprint in terms of this is what we want to achieve. And then how do we get from A to B? And there's all these processes and steps in between. And again, that's what I've been able to transfer to the working world in terms of breaking them down and almost having my own little project plan for myself. So again, there's just so many that I think as athletes probably take for granted.